What's becoming even more alarming is fighting to the north now with Hezbollah in Lebanon. Joining us live is Lieutenant Colonel Sarit Zehavi, founder of the Alma Centre, which specialises in Israel's security challenges on the northern border. Sarit, good morning to you. Good evening where you are. Thank you for your time. Well, Gaza and Hamas, as we just saw, obviously getting most of the attention at the moment, but plenty of folks, I'm sure, might not even be aware of just how bad things are with Israel's northern neighbour. So, in your view, let us know, how bad is it? What sort of daily rocket exchanges are we seeing?
I'm speaking to you 9 kilometers from Lebanon, where I live, and the beautiful sunset that you see behind me is from my balcony, where we had rockets and drones just on Friday, and I took the photo while all this was happening. The northern part of Israel is actually in a kind of a war of attrition since Hezbollah started it in October 8 in 2023, and we had 2,300 attacks since then by Hezbollah. Doesn't mean 2,300 rockets, 2,300 attacks, while we had barrages of 200 rockets in the same attack. Yesterday, 2 Israeli citizens were killed in the Golan Heights by a Hezbollah rocket that was direct hit on their car, and as you show now, we have tons of fires by these rockets of Hezbollah. This is daily situation over here in Israel's north.
Sarit, is this the worst it's been in the north since 2006 when Israel had its war with Lebanon?
It is worse behind our imagination because we have 60,000 Israelis that are displaced. They were evacuated at the beginning of the war because there was a fear, an existential fear, I would say, that Hezbollah will execute the same invasion and massacre like Hamas, since Hezbollah was completely prepared and deployed along the borderline with Israel. I saw them every day when I was on the border, meters away from me, the elite units of Hezbollah, and they had exactly the same plan as was executed by Hamas to invade to the Galilee, to northern Israel, and to capture civilians to become human shields. This is a plan that was published by Hezbollah a decade ago and eventually was executed by Hamas, but nobody could promise us here that it would not happen over here as well. That's why Israelis were evacuated. Eventually, they cannot go back to their homes since there is war here, except in a different way than what we imagined, and there are daily attacks coming from Hezbollah towards the north that do not enable us to bring the people back home.
So, I mean, Hezbollah has said that it doesn't want a war, but, I mean, you're suggesting there that they're probably, and we can all see that it's probably creeping towards it. What singular moment would result in a all-out war with Lebanon, in your view?
Israel is already at war. Hezbollah started this war in October 8. So the question now is not whether there will be a war, because there is already a war. The question is at what scale, and the question is at what point Israeli government will make a decision to protect its citizens and enable them to go back home. And the dilemma today is whether there will be kind of a diplomatic arrangement that will enable that, or we will have to do it in a different way. I must tell you that Israelis are not interested in a full-scale war. They are interested in eliminating the threat of Hezbollah to be capable of executing another massacre. And my greatest fear as somebody who lives here, that there will be kind of a fictional arrangement that eventually will bring to a ceasefire. And today, the leader of Hezbollah, Nasrallah, said that a ceasefire is definitely an option. But if it will be a ceasefire at the terms that are now being discussed, it would mean that Hezbollah will be able to preserve its capabilities and very quickly execute its own plan to massacre Israelis.